Hi, it's Dwyer. It's November 27th, 2024. This is the day before Thanksgiving. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Now, what I'm going to do in this video, because it's a bit shocking to me, and I want everyone to be heard, what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a link to the odds in the Alexander Usyk Tyson Fury fight of the year that's coming up. Right? This is either for greatness or redemption in the heavyweight division. Right? Now, there are times when betting markets get a little bit ahead of themselves, where people take their eye off the ball. And if you're paying attention, you can walk in and place great bets. Folks, for this fight, that time is right now. Right? By my math, 67 times 2 equals 134. Right? Just understand. Right now, you're getting Tyson Fury, according to oddschecker.com, at 135 over 67. Folks, the casinos on the eve of Thanksgiving, perhaps gamblers have started partying too early, but on the eve of Thanksgiving, they're giving you one of the very best fighters in any weight class, right? Certainly one of the absolute best of his generation at better than 2-1 odds in a rematch fight that he lost the first fight by 1 point. 1 point on the third judge's scorecard. Right, folks? This is ridiculous. Right? I don't even know what to say. I told you before the first fight, because of the way the odds fell, because of the coordination gap between the two fighters, I told you I thought Usyk was the betting side of the play. Here, folks, it's obvious Tyson Fury's the betting side of the play. These guys have seen each other for 12 rounds. 2-1? You've got to be kidding me. They're giving Tyson Fury less than a 35% chance of winning this fight. So in the comment section, because these odds are extreme for even this fight, right? Fury was around a plus 150 for a while. What's he doing up over a plus 200? So what I want people to do in the comment section of this video is, if you know the reason why the line has jumped, right? If you sense some kind of structural move among gamblers and know the reason why, tell us about it in the comment section of this YouTube video. Right? Has Fury started smoking cigarettes? Are people seeing Fury at 3 in the morning out at clubs? Tell us the story. Tell us what's going on. Because I really don't know. This is ridiculous. You know, it would be ridiculous if Usyk was going off at better than a plus 200. Understand, it's equally ridiculous that Tyson Fury's going off at a plus 200. Let me make a few more points. We saw Usyk cuff around Anthony Joshua in the 12th round of the first fight. Right? You knew Usyk was winning the fight going into that round. But he decided to make sure they couldn't rip him off. So he cuffs around Joshua for at least the last minute of that round. Revisit it. So he comes out for the second fight. Now I'm just telling you, there are many fighters who would think, hey, I was cuffing this guy around. I know this guy now. I've seen him. I had the upper hand at the end of the first fight. Let me close the show. Right? He fights Anthony Joshua in the rematch. It's in the UK. right? Understand, Usyk, a Ukrainian, really can't fight at home. And so, what happens? Usyk comes out, and this is a personality thing. Usyk comes out and he's cautious. Folks, I would argue that's who he is. Right? He's cautious. We all have a different risk tolerance. Right? You have the Elon Musk of the world who want to go to Mars. And then you have the guys who don't want to leave the local atmosphere. Right? Now, Usyk got a knockdown in the first fight. But then Fury is able to get back in the saddle. He's able to finish the fight. Several rounds were left in that first fight here. Usyk's attitude wasn't okay, let me close the show here. This guy has shown he can't take my punch. Let me throw several shots like this. No, that's not the attitude, folks. That's not the fighter. You understand he's going to come out exactly like he came out against Anthony Joshua. Even if he has a lead early. This isn't the guy with the closer mindset. So, it's a bit shocking. Let's say you're on the fence for this fight. Let me make a few points here. First, the way I see it, and I could be wrong, this is one man's opinion. I'm not pretending it's anything else. The only guy who has a shot at an early knockout in this fight is Tyson Fury. Right? You saw Fury in the Wilder rematch. You saw Fury come for a stoppage. These two men have very different personalities. Very different. Right? I have no doubt that Fury knew he was ahead in that first fight against Usyk, and he feels he let Usyk off the hook. Also, Fury's comments after the fight, they were a little bit off color, weren't they? He was suggesting that because of what's happening in Usyk's country, the Ukraine, that the world was against Fury. That the world was predisposed to give Usyk a close decision. That he lost the fight due to politics. Now, I know we're here listening to it. Lord knows we've heard a lot of fighters on the wrong side of a decision complain after the fight. But understand with Fury, again, read the personalities. Those are heartfelt statements. That's what he believes. Right? This is a guy who, let's remember, also knocks down Deontay Wilder early in the third fight they had. Right? This is a guy who could load up on shots. This is a guy who dominated. That's the only word that comes to mind. Derek Chisora. As I said, this is one of the best fighters of his generation. So, with an understanding that one guy is going to be cautious, even though he won the first fight. He's going to let the fight go a few rounds. If a knockout comes in the course of boxing, then he's good. He'll take the knockout. But he's not going to go looking for the knockout. The other guy feels the world's against him. The other guy's going to go looking for the knockout. Right? Think about that third Fury-Wilder fight. Right? Fury gets up off the canvas twice, then is able to switch that fight around. He starts to dominate the fight. Does he take his foot off the gas? The answer is no. Right? The world is not enough. He went for the stoppage. He got the stoppage. So, what I want people to do is to just realize you don't even have to be a risk taker to understand that in a competitive fight like this, where collectively The two guys have one loss collectively. And of course, that one loss was by 1 point in their first fight. Right? The minute the casino says, hey, we're giving you a plus 200, you don't even need to look up at the board. Right? Let's say you're in a casino and there's a betting board. You don't even have to look up. You say, okay, I'll take the underdog. Whoever the underdog is. You're playing the situation. Right? Plus 200. This fight is too competitive for there to be a plus 200 on either side. Here they're giving you the guy who was winning the fight when he ran into turbulence in the middle of the fight. Let's talk about some other things you need to know. Usyk by decision. Now, isn't that what happened in both Anthony Joshua fights? Right? Usyk wins both of those fights by decision. Let's be clear here. Joshua knocked down by Vladimir Klitschko. Joshua knocked out by Andy Ruiz. Right? Here is Usyk cuffs Joshua around late in the first fight. Joshua lucky to survive the 12th round. Just revisit the film. He comes out, no urgency. No urgency to knock Joshua out in the rematch. If he takes that approach here against Tyson Fury, a guy who knows how to use length a lot better than Joshua, just look at how he has a hand out to create distance in the Wilder rematch. If this fight goes the distance, you want to know how preposterous the odds are? According to Odds Checker, with an understanding that 20-20 is even money, 20-20. Usyk by decision is 33 over 20. 33 over 20. You think the guy with the shorter reach is going to try to step into the pocket and duke it out with Tyson Fury? I don't. Right? If Usyk wins this fight, in my opinion, and I know we got the knockdown in the first fight, right? I blame that in part on conditioning, in part on Tyson Fury being ahead and being full of himself. Life is humbling. Right? But folks, I get the feeling Usyk's going to play it safe. Usyk by decision here isn't even money. Usyk by decision here is 33 over 20. You're getting far better than even money. You're getting better than a plus 150 on Usyk by decision. You need to view this as a betting portfolio, right? Don't go in saying, I'm going to pick the winner, and then think you have one bet to make on this fight. Right? At a minimum, you have two. I'm going to suggest the third. Right? The two have to be Tyson Fury. Well, the two I'm looking at, based on these current odds. And I already have money on this fight. If I could ever convince the foreign casino that I have an account with that I actually live in that country, hopefully I'll be able to get that money if I win this fight. I don't want to get too biographical here. But let's just say I already have money on this fight. But the way betting goes is, if the casino is foolish enough to suddenly change the odds on you and offer you better than a plus 200 on Tyson Fury, you've got to say, hey, whatever money I have on this fight, I need a piece of this action too. To me, Tyson Fury, at better than a plus 200, let's be precise here, at a 135 over 67. You'll see it in the odds link. If you check that link close to today, November 27th, 2024. Right? To me, even if you are wearing an Usyk t-shirt, you need to have that as part of your betting portfolio. another part of your betting portfolio, because, folks, this is what happened in the first fight. Is Usyk by decision. You know that's possible because it's already happened. That's a 33/20. So here, let's talk about a possible third bet. Folks, take the low-hanging fruit. Usyk's never lost. If you believe Tyson Fury, who has not knocked down Usyk in 12 rounds, if you believe Tyson Fury is going to have a hard time finding Usyk before the midway point of the 8th round, if you believe, like I do, Usyk's going to be cautious, right? He's the smaller man after all, right? He saw the Wilder rematch. He knows what Fury can do in a rematch, with an emphasis on going for the knockout instead of dancing like he did the first Wilder fight. Right? Hell, Usyk saw the third Wilder fight involving Tyson Fury. Right, folks? Would it surprise you to know that they're offering you a 25% profit payout if this fight goes over the midway point of the 8th round? Folks, you aren't even in the championship rounds. If you're watching the fight and the fight makes it past the midway point of the 8th round, folks, that's a 25% payout. They're paying out that as a 1 in 4. Why wouldn't you take that, at least at a hedge? So if, and understand the risk involved, if Usyk gets a late stoppage on Tyson Fury, and you say to yourself, wow, there goes my Fury plus 200, there goes my Usyk by decision, just understand, if that late stoppage is after the midway point of the 8th round, at least you won that part of the bet. You're getting 25% on that third leg. Right? Think about it. So, all I can say is I'm expecting these odds to change greatly. I don't know what happened here. I think people, maybe they saw that Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight, and maybe they don't realize that both of these guys are older, not just one of them. But something's happened where the odds for Tyson Fury have spiked. Folks, they're still the same fighter. I mean, all I can say is Usyk, dazed, confused, down on the canvas in the first fight, gets off the canvas and then goes the distance. Right, folks? You have to believe that Usyk's going to face that level of adversity in this second fight for you to justify this point spread. Right? I think this point spread can't be justified. The first fight was razor close. Right? Understand, the scoring very different than the scoring in the razor close Beterbiev-Bivol fight. Right here, this is a split decision that Fury loses by 1 point in a fight in which he got knocked down. Right? If he stays upright and goes the distance and the fight is close again, just understand this plus 200 is going to seem ridiculous. Right? Let me also say too, again, I know some of you are going to say, didn't Usyk stop Daniel Dubois? Right? Okay, fair enough. All I can say about Daniel Dubois is he has good days and he has bad days. Doesn't he? Right? I can't explain how the guy who gets dropped multiple times by Kevin Lerena is the same guy who takes out Filip Ergovic. I believe Dubois gets frustrated and loses his way sometimes in fights. The Dubois shortly before taking a knee against Joe Joyce, to Dubois, who is getting hit with the same jab repeatedly by Usyk in a fight in which Dubois has Usyk on the canvas. We can debate whether the punch was legit. Let's just say I'm expecting a different presentation here from Tyson Fury. Right? Fury's a different person. Fury, in my opinion, and I know this sounds jarring looking back, but Usyk needed to come back against Francis Ngannou. Right? Another fight where he was on the canvas relatively early. He needed to come back against Ngannou. And he did just that. Right? He's in bad shape in the first Usyk fight. He needed to come out and use some ring savvy just to survive. He did just that. Right? This fighter is a guy who's hard to stop. Understand, Tyson Fury, while he's been down in a number of fights, right? Knocked down multiple times in multiple fights by Deontay Wilder. Just one opponent, right? Of course, he's down against Steve Cunningham. He's down against a few guys. But let's give him credit. He has never been stopped. Never. They tell you a guy who's a multi-year heavyweight champion who has never been stopped is a plus 200. Your answer should be, especially if he's under 40, especially if he's younger than his opponent, your answer should be, you know what? That's the side of the bet I want to be on, right? Or at least, for my betting portfolio, I need a little something on that side. Take a look at the line, folks. It's preposterous. Boxing has gotten ahead of itself. I'm just wondering exactly what happened in the last few weeks to cause the line to spike like this. Right? Grab it while you can, in my opinion. Those are my thoughts. Let me hear yours in the comment section of this update. Thanks for stopping by.